Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing an eyeshadow palette collection video, and this is just a fun video. It's not a haul. In fact, a lot of these palettes are not even available anymore. This is just a way for us to kind of sit down and go through these palettes and just girl talk and all of that fun stuff. We're, you know, like I always say when I do hauls and all these videos, just imagine that we are like sitting at my house drinking coffee at my dining room table, and we're just talking about like all the girly things. That's what we're going to be doing today. So I figured I would go through my eyeshadow palette collection with you guys. And the reason for that, honestly, it's to show you guys and, like, you know, obviously give me some video content ideas, but also it really is a big thing for me. I have actually had most of my eyeshadow palettes packed away for quite some time, and I just am ready to bring them back out and start playing with them again. And the reason for that, I've heard other women talk about this, and I love the analogy that they use. They talk about like when they go into like a season of almost like survival mode and they lose their pink, and then after a while they feel like they're ready to fall back in love with pink and find their pink again. And I feel like I am definitely at that stage. I am definitely ready to find my pink and enjoy pink and fall back in love with pink again and just be girly and feminine. And that is a conscious decision that I made, you guys. That's not something that like I just woke up one day and I was like, oh, I feel like I'm becoming more feminine again. That is literally a decision that I made because I felt like me living in survival mode and just the emotional toil and all of that, it was literally giving me physical effects. Like I was starting to break down. So I made a conscious decision that it's like, okay, it is time for you to soften. And obviously I know we can't always be that way, that, you know, as women, there's a lot we take on. And, you know, especially if you're like a woman who owns a business and everything, a lot of times you have to kind of be in your masculine power. But it's so important to also have that soft feminine side to just be able to have fun and be girly and relax. So that is what this little video is about. It's about getting excited again about the eyeshadows and things like that. Makeup in general. I know this is probably a long-winded intro. Stick with me. I think for me, because I was in the beauty industry for a very long time. I did hair, I did skincare for a huge amount of the time that I was in that industry. I was actually a head esthetician for 2 different salons. So I did a lot of makeup. I would do prom and homecoming makeup. I would do bridal parties. So I was just surrounded by makeup all the time. And then in my own personal life, I was a makeup collector. I just loved makeup. And then it just, I don't know if I got burnt out or if, like I said, I think it was just I lost my pink. I got to a point where I dreaded putting makeup on. I didn't want to do it. And I gave myself that. I didn't force myself to put on makeup. I let myself have that. I would go makeup free, or I would just throw on like chapstick and a mascara and be, you know, go with it. So I actually literally packed up all of my eyeshadow palettes in this box. And today we're getting them back out. So let's go ahead and jump into this. Like I said, this is just going to be a very casual, like chatty video. We're going to go through. I don't think a lot of these are available anymore because some of them are older, but I thought it was still fun to look at them. So let's start here with this. This is a hard candy palette. And I had gotten this from Walmart. This is one I'm not really sure if it's still available or not, but it's called Guilty Pleasures. But you can see it is so pretty. Like it's very glittery and shimmery, which I love. I haven't used this obviously in a very long time, so I don't remember how it performs or anything, but I'm so excited to get some of these out and start playing with them again. Now these, let's see, are these? No, these are not them. Let me find, okay, this is the one. This I know is still available because I literally just bought a backup, because this has been the one that I have been just using every single day because it's just so good. And it's Maybelline. It's the City Mini palette, and this is in Chill Brunch Neutrals is the color scheme. That's what it looks like. I actually just picked up a backup, another one, because as you can see, I've hit pan on a couple of them. I'm almost hitting pan on that one because it's just such a good palette. So love, love, love that. And that is still available. And then in the whole like City Mini palette line, I actually have this one too, which is Skyscape Dusk. Very similar to the other one, except for the Chill Brunch Neutrals has more like shimmery glittery, and the what is this one again, Skyscape Dusk, is more matte colors, but they are very similar, if you can see that. So I'll definitely be playing with that one. This is another one that is so pretty, and I haven't seen this in a long time, so I don't know if they still make it, but it's Maybelline. It's the Burgundy bar. And oh gosh, some of these colors are just so pretty. That's what that one looks like. Again, you've got lots of shimmers and like glittery, but then you do have some mattes in there also. Love that. Especially for autumn, I feel like this is such a pretty one. Let's see. Actually, let's talk about these two. These are actually from Temu, and I got these because I thought they were so pretty, which I think is another thing, you guys, because when I bought these, I really wasn't wearing a whole lot of makeup at the time, but I feel like eyeshadow palettes, makeup in general, because I feel this way about lipsticks too. I feel like it's almost like art. When you see a palette, it's like something that you can collect. It's even if you don't use it, I just feel like when you look through a palette and you just see the color story on it and the packaging and just, it's so beautiful. And it is, to me, it's like an art piece. And it's definitely something that I want to collect. So both of these I actually got from Temu at the time I wasn't really wearing makeup. I have since played with them a little bit, but I haven't really dove into them hardcore or anything, but I just thought they were so cool looking. So this first one, which these are by Kevin and Coco is the name on them. This one is the Vogue. Looks like this, but you open it up and there is a mirror here, but then you have all of these beautiful colors. Let me see if I can look at how beautiful some of these are. I mean, like, in all honesty, I probably would never wear this one or this one, but they're just so beautiful. So, I mean, I just love having the palette to be able to just look at it and to be inspired by it. So there's that page. And then let's flip to the next one. The next one is all like blushes and highlighters and contours. So again, lots of like, pretty shimmery colors. Now this I have used as a blush and I do like it. I don't really use contour, which honestly, I guess a lot of these probably, I mean, this might be dark enough to use as a contour, like for someone like me who has very light skin, but a lot of these would be more just like bronzer effects or like highlighter. But again, just beautiful colors. And then the last page looks like this. So it's more neutrals. Like, I probably wouldn't wear that color. But again, I just think it's so pretty because it's like glittery and shimmery. And I liked this palette too because the different pages say things like this one, it says, "You are so beautiful." And then this one back here says "Wild at Heart." So I just, like I said, it's just such a collectible piece. And even if the eyeshadows and the blushes and all of that themselves were like on the crappy side, I just think it's such a cool piece. So definitely something worth collecting. And then the other one that I got from Temu, when I say I got these from Temu, that was probably a year and a half ago. So I don't know if these are still available, but this next one is also by Kevin and Coco, and it is the 59 color eyeshadow face palette. And this is what this one looks like on the outside. And then again, you open it up and actually, no, that's not the first page. Hang on, let's go to the first page. The first page has a mirror, and then you have all of these beautiful eyeshadow colors. Now, again, I would probably never use like that unless I was doing like a Halloween look. I mean, just I can't really see myself wearing something like that on the daily, but it's so beautiful. And like this, the glitter in this is just gorgeous. So there's that page. And then the next page is blushes again, and like eyeshadow or blushes and highlighters. And like that would definitely be a good contour color. So there's that page. And then the last page is more eyeshadows. Again, look at how beautiful. I love this shade. And honestly, I feel like I probably would wear that shade like in the crease or something. So I'm going to have to play around with that, especially for autumn, because I just feel like that's such a pretty color. And again, these pages all say things like this one says, "Love me more." And it has like this pretty girl. And then the other page, oh, the other one just says Kevin and Coco. And then obviously the front had the mirror. But again, just even if the eyeshadows are disappointing, I think they're just beautiful to look at, and it's just such a collectible piece. Next are a couple of, these are from BH Cosmetics, which I don't even know if that company's still around. Like that tells you how long ago this is from. I wonder if this has a date on it, to be honest, because this is from years ago. It doesn't have a date. Bummer. I was hoping it did. But anyway, this is the BH Cosmetics Party Girl After Hours palette. And it looks like this. And then when you open it up, it's got the mirror. And then these are the colors. Now, there is another... Okay, I have it. Yeah, because I was going to say, this is the Party Girl After Hours. So you've got more of like the darker shades like this. Like the midnight type of shades. Whereas there's just a straight BH Cosmetics Party Girl palette, and it's got brighter colors. They're not as like dark, like nighttime colors. But again, with this one, you've got like a lot of the mattes, but then you have like some beautiful shimmery ones. Just love that. And then this is the Party Girl one, which is, you know, obviously the night one is like the secondary. So this is what that one looks like. I have seen, like, you can see, I've never even touched this one. Like, it's completely as is, because I wouldn't know how to wear that. But I've actually seen quite a few people recently wearing really, really bright yellow eyeshadow. And it actually looks really cool. So that is that palette. Also from BH Cosmetics, this one is, they had a whole line of like the different eras, the different generations, I guess. And this is the Eyes on the 70s palette. And when you open it up, it gives you like a little idea of what to do. And then these are the colors in this palette. I love, like up here, these two, super shimmery. I love those. They're so pretty. I would love to do something with like the green too. I'm always drawn to green eyeshadow, like the bright greens and the deep greens, but I've never really done much of a shadow like look with them other than like lining like just the very corners with it just to give like a pop of color. So that's definitely something I kind of want to play with. But yeah, again, just beautiful. Let's see. We'll do all the BH Cosmetics ones and get those out of the way. Okay, so I have 3 more from BH Cosmetics. This one is called Wild and Free, and it's a smaller palette. And these were the baked eyeshadow palettes. So you've got like a mirror here, and then these are the colors. Love that. Again, I'm very drawn to like that olive green, especially for autumn. So I'm definitely gonna have to play with stuff like that like shade. And then we also have Wild Child. And that is the colors in there. Super pretty. And I remember when I first got this thinking that this was like so deep and like not wearable. But then I played with it and it's actually a beautiful shade for in the crease. It's not too dark and it's very buildable. So that one is actually really nice. And then this one is Wild at Heart. And these ones just make me think of like Cyndi Lauper. in like the 80s, you know, like this bright color here. I just can picture her with that color on her eyelids. So I haven't really played with this one much. As you can see, there's just really not much brush marks in there. Just because those colors, yeah, I feel like are more out of my comfort zone for myself, but I find they're beautiful and I do want to play with them. So that's all the BH Cosmetics ones that I have. I do have this small little Ulta Beauty. This is an 8-piece eyeshadow palette, and okay, it doesn't even have like a name. It just looks like this. And just very neutral colors, which I've actually used this one quite a bit. And then we have, these are another one. I don't know if they still have these out because there was a whole like line of different ones in like this range. And this is the Maybelline, this is the Soda Pop one. But they had like a cherry one, I want to say. There was like a peach one that was actually scented like peach. There was just a whole bunch, unless I'm confusing it with somebody else, but they had a whole bunch of different eyeshadow palettes. And this is something I got at Walmart, and I'm gonna be honest, you guys, the last time I was at Walmart and I was looking through the makeup, I was so disappointed because I feel like they don't really have any fun palettes right now, and Walmart used to have a ton. So I'm not really sure what's going on with that, if like palettes are just not like a thing anymore, or maybe it's just Walmart. But these are the shades in that one. Super, super pretty. I haven't looked. I mean, I'm sure, you know, like Sephora and Ulta, they still have the high-end palettes, but I used to love getting, you know, the more affordable ones from drugstores. Now, I know Five Below also used to have some eyeshadow palettes, but I haven't been to Five Below in months, so I couldn't tell you if they still do. Okay, here's another, this is actually another one of the Maybelline City Mini palettes, and this one is called Diamond District. So again, these shades are similar to the other ones. The one that's really stands out is this one's different from the other two palettes that I have from them, but beautiful colors. And I feel like they blend well. I'm actually wearing the Chill Brunch Neutrals today. I feel like they blend well. They're very buildable. They go on like smooth, and there is like quite a bit of color payoff. So I do feel like those are actually really good palettes. Let's see. I have, these are all very similar, and the reason for it is because I have, I'll show you these two first. These are two of my favorite eyeshadows of all time, and they're from Urban Decay, and it's Midnight Cowboy and then Midnight Cowboy Rides Again. And the Midnight Cowboy one looks like this. And as you can see, well, you can tell there's a huge dent in this. As you can see, it is like a super, well, it's a very neutral light pink, but it has these like tiny flecks of glitter in there, and it's just beautiful. It's not so glittery that it's like offensive if you were gonna wear it to work and you work in an office. It's not gonna look like Vegas Showgirl, but it just gives you enough of like that pink that I'm talking about, like that girly, you know, enchanted pink that's just like sparkly and fairy-ish. And what I love about this, normally if you have an eyeshadow and there's fallout, it's usually a problem. With this one, I almost like it because it'll put like these tiny little sparkles just like on your cheekbones as you're like doing it. And I actually love that. And I've had actually people compliment me on that and think that I did it on purpose. So this to me is just such a good girly color. And then the Midnight Cowboy Rides Again is that same base pink, but it's even more glittery. And it's, hopefully you guys can see, but this one, yeah, I'm almost completely out of. Actually, let me do a side by side so you can kind of see the difference. So the Midnight Cowboy Rides Again, it's a very buildable one, and it is the type that if you wanted to go heavy with it, you could absolutely go, you know, Vegas Showgirl with it, and your eyelids would just be like, you know, looking like light bulbs because it's so shimmery. So that's those, and these are my two favorite eyeshadows of all time. And so I have these two eyeshadows that I had gotten, and basically I was just trying to see if they were dupes because these are like not as expensive as the Urban Decay ones. So the first one is actually the Sephora brand eyeshadow, and this is called Ballet. slippers or something. What is it? Yeah, ballet shoes. So this is what it looks like. And unfortunately, it's not quite a dupe. It's very pretty, but it's not quite that pink color. This is more of like a peachy skin tone. So it's not quite the same, but I mean, it's still really, really pretty. So that's what that one looks like. And then the other one that I just tried, this is a L'Oreal, and these are the Infallible eyeshadow, and this one is called Iced Latte. And again, this is more of a skin tone one. It's not quite, it doesn't have that like pinky tone. It's more of like a skin tone or like a peach. So it's not quite a dupe. Now, funny thing, these two could dupe each other, the L'Oreal and the Sephora. These are very, very much alike, but they're not quite the Urban Decay ones. So, okay, moving on. Next, I have, when Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson did their palette collab, my husband actually got it for me. He got me the big Conspiracy palette, and then also when there was like the re-release, he got me the smaller one because it had the green shade. If you guys have watched that whole series, you know what I'm talking about. Like, there was a green shadow that was going to originally go into the Conspiracy palette, and they decided to take it out. And so many people who watched that series were so disappointed that they took the green shadow out because it was so stunning. And so then they did a re-release of a smaller palette, and they put the green shade back, and they actually named the green shadow Put It Back, because so many people like raised holy hell because they took it out. So this is the original Conspiracy palette though, the big one, and it is beautiful, you guys. It is such a nice palette. It is sturdy. It is quality. So when you open it up, that's what you have. You've got a mirror, and then these are the actual shades that are in there. I haven't used this one a ton. I'm trying to see. Yeah, I've used more of the neutral shades in this one. This one is stunning, but that would be probably one that I would just like line like the bottom like lash line with or something if I was like wanting just like a single pop of color. But that's that palette. And then let me show you the smaller one. The smaller one is called Mini Controversy, and this is what it looked like in the packaging. And this one, it's got that green shade, and oh, that green shade. I actually have played with the green shade. So this is what the palette itself looks like. And then when you open it, and that is the green shade. As you can see, it's called Put It Back. If you are a makeup person, regardless of how you feel about Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star or whatever, that is a very interesting series because you get to see how a palette is made from beginning to end, like to release. And it's just exciting. It's just, for someone like me who loves makeup, and it's so interesting, and it's just so exciting. I love that series. So, but yeah, so those are the colors in that palette. Super pretty. And then actually we're down to my last one, and this is another one that is probably one of my favorites, but it is not one that I actually wear a lot of the shades in it. There are some very wearable shades, but more than anything, to me, this is just a collector's piece, and it is from a company called Storybook Cosmetics. Again, I don't even know if they still exist. I have a feeling that they don't, or maybe they just clearanced out stuff, because I've actually seen stuff on Temu from Storybook Cosmetics, almost like they like got rid of all of their stuff, because I've seen like brushes and stuff from them. But anyway, it comes in this beautiful bag that's like velvet, and this is the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory palette. And I love the book Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I love the movie, so this is just so perfect for me. So this is what the outside of the palette looks like. It looks, you know, like the edge looks like it's like the book binding, and I love that. So you slide it out, And then this is the palette itself. Again, you've got like the book binding, and then you open it up, and the first thing that you have is a golden ticket. It says Wonka golden ticket, 1st of February, 10 a.m. Many wonderful surprises await you, which I love that. And then you have a mirror here, and it says tremendous things are in store for you, which I love that. So right here it says tremendous things are in store for you. And then this is the palette itself. There are some wearable shades, like I said, but some of them I probably wouldn't ever wear, but I love this palette just for the art. It's just so pretty. And like the color names, you have Charlie Bucket, Snozberries, Augustus Gloop, Mike TV, Willy Wonka, Oompa Loompa, Fizzy Lifting Drink, Veruca Salt, Everlasting Gobstopper, Violet Beauregard, Wonka Bar, and Golden Ticket. Those are the shade names. So I just love that. And again, this is the kind of palette that I look at it and it just inspires me. And I just feel like it's so, like, this is something you could display. You know, it's like, it's such an art piece. So love, love, love that. Okay, you guys, that is it. That is all of the eyeshadow palettes, actually all the eyeshadows that I have currently. I'm super excited to kind of start looking at palettes again. Like I said, I kind of walked through Walmart and I just did more of like a brief look through. I didn't like dig or anything like that to try and find palettes, but I didn't see too many. But I'm definitely in that era of wanting to find some new things. So the next time I go to Walmart and I have some extra time, I am going to take some more time to walk through the aisles and see what I can find. I also want to check places like Target, and even like I know drugstores like CVS and Walgreens, they used to even have like different palettes. Obviously I will, you know, browse through Sephora, because they're like Too Faced, they used to put out palettes that I feel like were definitely like art pieces, because the packaging was so cute, and then the color stories inside, like just the different shade ranges and all of that, were so beautiful. So I definitely want to kind of look into those, and especially with like autumn and then the holidays coming up, I know a lot of the higher end companies do a lot of palette releases then. But like I said, I really, really love the drugstore ones. There's just something about those, because I feel like it's almost like a treasure hunt to find the really cool ones. So I definitely want to check into that. I even want to check Dollar Tree, because Dollar Tree actually used to have some really cool eyeshadow palettes that were actually pretty good quality. So anyway, if you have any recommendations for me, please let me know. I would also love to know, what is your favorite eyeshadow or eyeshadow palette? Like, tell me the name of it, tell me where you got it. If it's a palette, let me know in the actual palette, is there a certain shade in there that's your favorite? I want to hear all about it. Let me know. Also, let me know, you guys know I love hearing if you've had any complete flops. Like if you got a palette and it was horrible, let us all know in the comments so we know to avoid that palette. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with me for a little bit, and I will see you very soon.